economy, miracles of the 20th century. Asia was the world's largest economy during ancient times, as you can see on this slide. In terms of the GDP percentage, India and China were among the largest economies in the world during ancient times. But during the recent centuries, Asia, here India and China, rapidly declined and lagged far behind the West in terms of economic capabilities. But during the 20th century, we see the rise of economy in Asia. First, we see the rise of Japan during the early 20th century as a result of first wave of industrialization. After the end of World War II, we see the revival of the Japanese economy, and during the 1980s, Japan became the economic superpower in the world. And since the 1960s, we see a group of small countries or regions in Asia that rose very rapidly economically, and these are South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. They are collectively called Asian tiger economies. They adopted export-led growth development strategy that result in very rapid growth in their economy. So this is hailed as a East Asia economic miracle by the World Bank. Then during the 1980s, we see the rise of so-called second-tier tiger economies in Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and to a certain extent, the Philippines. They also follow this export-led development strategy and have gone through very rapid economic rise. And since the 1990s, we see the rise of Asian giants such as China and India, and they are on their way to become world-class economic powerhouses. In addition to these economies that I have mentioned, there are some other countries in Asia that they also gone through very rapid economic growth in recent years. One typical example is Vietnam. Vietnam, since the mid-1980s, had gone through major economic reform, therefore has resulted in very rapid economic development. Today, some people call Vietnam the baby tiger. The economic successes of these Asian countries eventually fueled the notions of the 21st century, the century for Asia, so-called the Asian century. Also have given rise to the debates on alternative models of governance and economic development. Here, so-called alternative model is in contrast with Western model of economic development that mainly rely upon the market economy. In many countries of Asia, government play a very critical role in guiding the economic development. So it is truly an alternative approach toward economic governance and development. Languages. In Asia, there are many very unique language families. You have Japanese language families. The language there are mainly spoken in countries of Japan. The Korean language family, which is mainly spoken in North Korea and South Korea. The languages within the Sino-Tibetan family are mainly spoken in China, Thailand, Burma, Laos, and Bhutan. Languages within the Austroasiatic language families are mainly spoken in Vietnam, Cambodia, and parts of South Asia. Languages within the Austronesian family are mainly spoken in Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Brunei. And in southern India, the major languages that are spoken there belong to the Dravidian language family. In addition, in northern India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, also in the Maldives, major language spoken there are language that belong to the Indo-European family. Finally, there are languages in Asia that belong to the Altai language families. Those are the languages that are spoken in Mongolia and Inner-Mongolia and the Xinjiang of China. On this map, you see the language distribution in the world. Let's focus on Asia. Here you see the Altai language family. Language within this family are mainly spoken in Mongolia, Inner Mongolia, and Xinjiang of China. Here is an area where the language within the Sino-Tibetan families are spoken. Yes, part of large area of China, Tibet, and mainland Southeast Asia. Here, Korea, people speak Korean language. Here is where the language within the Japanese family are spoken. Here is a area where you have languages that belong to Austroasiatic language family in Cambodia and Vietnam. In addition, you see pockets of South Asia where language belong Austroasiatic language family also are spoken. In southern Indian, language spoken there belong to the Dravidian family. Here in this area of Southeast Asia, language belong to Austronesian language family. One interesting thing is that one place outside this region, Madagascar, where the major languages also belong to Austronesian language family. In addition, you see that in large area of South Asia, northern India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, languages there belong to the Indic language, a part of the Indo-European language family. On this map, you see the languages that are in large area of South Asia belong to the Indo-European language family. Religions. In Asia, there are many indigenous religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and Shintoism. Confucianism is not really a typical religion in a normal sense, but many people call Confucianism a social religion because it has important influence on people's behavior in places where this tradition is practiced. There are also very important imported religions in Asia that include Islam, Zoroastrianism, which is from Persia, and Christianity. On this map, you see the religious distribution in Asia. Hinduism is mainly practiced in large area of South Asia, especially country of India and portion of Sri Lanka. Buddhism is mainly practiced in large area of mainland Southeast Asia, Tibet, Inner Mongolia and the large area of China, Korea, and Japan. Here in large area of China, Korea, and Japan, Buddhism is mixed with some local faiths as well. For example, in China, Buddhism is mixed with Taoism, Confucianism. In Japan, Buddhism is mixed with Shintoism and Confucianism. In Korea, Buddhism is mixed with shamanism and Confucianism. There are two Christian countries in Asia, the Philippines and East Timor. In addition, many countries in Asia, you see the practice of Islam. Here, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the Maldives. In addition, countries in maritime Southeast Asia, such as Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. In summary, in this lecture, we discuss some topics that reflect cultural characteristics of Asia. In terms of population, we know Asia has been the largest place on Earth since ancient times in terms of population. In terms of agriculture, the farming system in Asia can be characterized intensive subsistence agriculture, but we know that in the last few decades we have seen increasing level of commercialization of agriculture in Asia. In Asia, we have many places with long history and ancient civilizations. Also, the history of colonialism or colonialist dominance in many ways have shaped and conditions the social economic development path chosen by those countries since the end of World War II. Economy in Asia was the largest on Earth during ancient times, and also during the 20th century, we see the rise of many economies in Asia. Also, we see the revival of some ancient economy, such as China and India. In addition, in terms of language and religion, Asia has very diverse pattern. It has both many indigenous and many imported language religions from other regions of the world. This is the end of this lecture. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. I see you next time. Goodbye.